Hello there, pilots. I am callsign OSHA, and welcome back to my channel. Today's subject will be covering the entire history of the continent of Pantala, from Wings of Fire, from the times of peace to the times of war, all up to date as of where the story currently stopped at. Starting off with the history of Pantala dates back approximately 5,000 years, when Cottonmouth first made it to the continent after leaving Paithra to escape the scorching. For some reason, after setting up shop in Pantala, Cottonmouth would eventually discover the Breath of Evil plant and use it for experiments to try and control dragons. With further experimentation on the plant, Cottonmouth discovered that he could control any living creature with the plant and used it to control every creature on the continent from mammals to insects. Over time, Cottonmouth's body likely started to fuse with the plant, along with the body of the dragonette that he had captured. And after the physical deaths, their minds started linked together in some sort of other mind.
Say that again?
Space that was tied to the plant, and as long as the plant lived, so would Cottonmouth and the dragonette's minds. The Legend of the Hive. After leaving Pyria, the beetle wings and the leaf wings found another continent across the sea, Pantala. The dragons decided that this new continent would be their new home and replace the old one that they had left behind. While settling on their newfound continent, the settlers were attacked by swarms of bugs and many animals, for reasons unknown to them. But to us, it was all so clear. Cottonmouth was back to the ways of the hater. But of course, the settlers fought back and eventually found a solution. The plant that covered nearly the entire landmass was the cause of fauna's hostility. So the settlers cut all of it down and destroyed every trace of it that they could find. Here come the colonizers. After a bad breakup situation, Clearsight needed to keep her focus off of her ex. So she did what any reasonable person would do after a bad breakup. She flew to another continent, colonized the locals, bred them to extinction, and somehow had enough kids that they all bred with each other and not have any defects in the bloodline. So, yeah, she's pretty reasonable. The tyrant, the queen, and the submissive butterfly. Now, after around 1,000 years and some change, there are entire 3 tribes that inhabit the lands of Pantala: the hive wings, the leaf wings, and the silk wings. Now, each of which has a respective queen: Queen Wasp, Queen Sequoia, and Queen Monarch. The 3 queens knew each other and often had meetings. This particular meeting was held by Queen Wasp, who wanted to discuss leadership of the whole continent being under one queen, and that one queen being her according to a book written by her ancestor Clearsight called, the Book of Clearsight.
No ship, Sherlock.
That was made to warn her future descendants of disasters for years to come so that they could avoid high casualty events. Queen Sequoia was suspicious and asked to see the book, but Queen Wasp said that the book was for hive-winged eyes only, which of course made Queen Sequoia even more suspicious and said that she would not hand over the throne simply just because an old book said so. The argument was getting heated, so in hopes that Sequoia would go along with her, Queen Monarch surrendered her throne to the Wasp. Sequoia did not let that slide, and still refused. So of course, Wasp, being the reasonable and cool-headed queen that she was, declared war on the Leaf Wings. Trivial division. After the events of the Tree Wars, the Leaf Wings began to fall apart, more specifically into halves. Some Leaf Wings wanted to make peace with what they had and live a new, normal, adjusted life and adapt to the poison jungle. These Leaf Wings were led by Queen Sequoia and nicknamed the Saplings. The other faction that deflected from Queen Sequoia, with the sole purpose of taking down Queen Wasp and regaining their freedom, were named the Poison Wings. I'll leave this to be dealt with in another video of its own. Post-Queen Wasp rule. After Queen Wasp was overthrown from the throne, Pantala's gears turned for the better. Queen Wasp and most of her sisters were given a pretty just punishment of their own making, forced to stay in the Silkwing Cavern underneath the Wasp Hive. The Silkwings and the Leaf Wings had come together to make a new kingdom, named the Leaf Silk Kingdom. Although it wasn't ruled by a monarchy, but regardless, it's still under the same name of a kingdom. The rulers of this new kingdom, if you will, go by the title of Leaf Silk Assembly, an organized group of leaf wings and silkwing characters, known and unknown, that are essentially like the American Congregational Branch. I think, maybe, I don't know. I'm not that much into politics. And that, pilots, is the entire history of the Pantala, from the beginning to its current known state. I'll be sure to do a video on the history of Pyria, which will be an extensive video due to the vast amount of history Pyria has been even through. Even though Pantala does have a longer history than Pyria, Pyria has more tribes than its history follows, along with more of that history being covered. Most of Pantalian history was skipped over and jumped straight into present day, and a little unearthed in the books 13 and 15, and in the guidebook. And that is where I will end things today. So I will see you soon, pilots.